Now, Shane, in the past, because we do a Bible study every week, you've told me some of the things that people did to try and help you before you became a Christian, things that didn't work. So I just thought it might be helpful for you to tell other people stuff that they might be going through at the moment and might be trying out, but didn't work for you, so that they can just see that there is hope, really. Is that all right?
Yeah, that's fine. First, I had a family. I've always had support from my family. Family's always been there for me. But at the time, I was too caught up in the life that I was living to really know, and I was pushing them away. And they say sometimes you do push the ones you love the most away from you. Like counselling, I went to counselling, spoke, but then to me, it didn't do much for me, Like, I'm very grateful for the people that I did meet in there, to this day, and we spoke, but I'd go out and I'd still do, after I spoke in the council, I'd still go out and do the same stuff that I was doing before, the drugs and one thing and another. Like I said, like you can't I can't ring a counsellor, at 3 o'clock anymore, or 24/7, like, to say, well, this is what I need. It's not like that with do you know what I mean? It's not, you don't even have to pick up the phone, he's there when you need him. And like I said, before I come to church, I could do I go to counselling, they speak, I did, it felt nice because there was a weight lifted off my shoulders, but then not long after, I'd go and do the same stuff that I was doing anyway. And it wasn't until I actually come to church itself, that was when, stuff changed. And like I said, both of us, like, greater is he living in me than he who is in this world. And then, as it says as well, we might be in this world, but we're not a part of it. And there's also, like, verses about, like, that come to me and it caught me. And even when I got baptised, one of the greatest things I actually ever done, and the support and the verses people was giving to me was amazing. And it's just, God just put a strength inside of me, which the counsellors couldn't do. And, and He helped me overcome the stuff, I took it straight to Jesus, and he just changed everything, like, and he knew it wasn't just the drugs, I was fighting other battles, other demons inside as well, and God just come to me, I don't know, I felt loved, I'm not going to lie, I felt loved, which, it was different, it was a different experience, and it was, it was good stuff, and it was kind of that, basically.
You've already talked about this a bit, but I know that your relationship with your family's changed a lot, and I was just hoping you might just say because you've got an amazing family. Just tell us a little bit about what's changed in your family relationships.
Like before, for a long time ago I was very skitty, if I didn't agree with something that they said, I thought, as a young lad, I thought I knew everything. But little did I know the things that I did know were the wrong things that I did know. Like and then, they couldn't be around me, I was blind to what, they was there to help me, and, and then I was driving them away, and I felt like it got to a point, like I felt like I didn't have no one, but then it was only the situations I got into was only the situations that I brought upon myself, so there was no one else to blame but me. And then, I'm very grateful now, my dad, we're father and son, we're also like best friends, we can have, well, before we couldn't be like that, and now it's just great, he's come to my baptism, and, which I would have never imagined, and it's just ways, and my mum, my brothers, my sisters, like before, my nieces and nephews, they couldn't go off with me to the shop and things like that, because the kind of person I was, my own life was in danger, and now I'm free, God's broke everything in my life, like, He's broke chains in my life, which I never thought was impossible, then God does make the impossible possible, which I know myself, and I can walk to the kids with the like now, before, like my brothers and sisters, they would have walked to the shop and things like that, but like, now when I changed and things, I seen the light of life, I didn't live in that dark space anymore, where Satan had the hold of me and he was there to destroy me. Now I can go off and I can go off with the nieces and the nephews, and it's just different. Like, you know, like in them ways, I've got my family back, and you know, before I used to think being blessed was like my ways of being things was going out, living a material life, and you know, some of the blessings I had around me was the ones that I was actually blind to at the time. Was a good family around me, you know, people that actually cared, and you know, the family was actually coming back and they were supporting me and showing me different ways, and you know, I was then being asked, like even for the church, you know, going to do Bible study at houses, and I felt accepted. I felt like this place is this is where I belong, and it was some of the greatest things I actually ever done. And like people I met at church, you know, like I didn't feel judged like with the, you know, I thought, what if they judged me? I didn't feel that in this church, you know, where before, you know, the people that I wouldn't even have the time, if they'd have seen me on the streets, they wouldn't have had the time of the day for me because of the person I was. So I'm very grateful, and I'm glad for the stuff God's done in my life. You know, from the family to the new people I've met, to the new people I'm getting along with. You know, I've met some greater people in my life now, and greater people that supported me and stuck by me for the things, not for knowing for what I have got, because it's not for what I have got, you know, and stuck by me for who I actually am and from who God's making me become, you know, not for what I've got and for what people are trying to get through me, you know. And I like I said before, I was on edge, you know, and I was troubled, and it's the same God that protected Daniel in the lion's den is the same God that's protecting me to this day now. It's amazing stuff, and he still carries to keep on doing it. Like, his word never fails me, and you know, it is amazing.
Just a short one now. Just if there's somebody who's listened to some of the stuff you've said, and they want to say, well, actually, I'm in that position myself, what would you say to them?
You know, there's never. I'm going to say, don't think, but I'm too far gone, because that's exactly how I thought. I thought I was too far gone. I felt like I had no hope left in my life, you know. I didn't know I was going to end up. I could have ended up in prison, or I could end up dead. It was going to be one of the two. And, you know, and God, if you think you're a mess, but believe me now, God can turn the biggest mess into the biggest message. And your weakness, you might feel weak now, but God will turn that into a strength. And He will use you to speak to other people. And you're not in it alone, believe me now. I can hand on my heart. You're not in it alone. You know, it's just giving yourself to Jesus is the best thing you can honestly do, because God will put you in places which you never even thought you'd be in, and these are some of the greatest places as well. And you know, you can't have a testimony without a test. So yeah, it all starts with you. Take that first step and see how many steps Jesus takes you. He will never fail you, and there's no regret in Jesus. You know, it's good stuff. You know.
Last thing is, some people talk about loving God.
Yeah.
And, you know, because you can't touch Him, you can't see Him and stuff.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about what that means for you when you talk about loving God?
It's the stuff he's done in my life, you know. Like I said, you know, I flushed the drugs down the toilet. You know, many ways I wanted to stop, but many ways I never thought I'd ever be flushing drugs down the toilet. That's for a start. You know, and with the ambulance guy, you know, God brought him. That's no luck, that's no coincidence, that's God, because just before that I was crying out to a song that said, Lord, please give me a friend tonight. And prayer's a powerful thing, you know. When we can't do nothing and we're stuck in situations, prayer is the only thing that will get us out of these situations, when we open up to Christ, you know, and we open up, and we, do you know what I mean? When we feel like we can't do no more, you know, it's let Christ come inside, you know. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And this is exactly what He will do. You know, it's great stuff. There's no regret in it at all. Never.
Thank you, Shane. Fantastic. It's been a pleasure listening to you.
And it's been a pleasure to make my way into this church. You know, and if it wasn't for God, my Father, you know, showing me ways, then there'd be ways, you know, like I've got a little girl, she's a princess, but He's teaching me things now, you know. But I'm going to tell you one thing, like, we've all been down there, but, you know, the valleys will teach you something that the mountaintops can't, you know. But I'm going to tell you one thing, don't bring up a past because Jesus dropped the charges. No, I'm only joking, it was something. It's good stuff. Like now with this joy I'm getting, I can smile and I can just keep going for ages. But